So something's been on my mind as of late, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to kind of give my thoughts on this. As you guys know, the Dark Universe, for lack of a better word, crashed and burned. It literally just fell to flames right out the gate. I really hated that movie, but thankfully we do have, the Invisible Man and hopefully some new Universal Monster content coming down the line. Now, this has been on my mind, and I'm sure some people have thought this too, where you kind of have this thought of, hey, why not use these characters? And that's what we're going to talk about today, because Universal kind of already has a dark universe. Like, it kind of has a dark universe, but not in the way you think. That universe is the Halloween Horror Nights universe. That is a whole thing where, it's now been over 30 years since Halloween Horror Nights has been going strong. It's synonymous with Universal Studios. And honestly, there's a part of me that's like, I'm surprised they haven't tried to do movies before. I'm surprised they haven't tried to do movies, because literally it's a shared universe that's ripe for the making. Like, you could easily make movies regarding all the characters. It'd literally be like the Conjuring universe, but a lot more like... Here's the thing, I think the thing, if you did a Halloween Horror Nights universe, you could easily make it a shared universe, but you have to really embrace, the real fun, scary side, the spooky side to it. Just the absolute insanity that it is, and also embrace that horror. And it's really hard to really walk that line for a lot of people, apparently. You really have to have a good director with a head on their shoulders that understands that not only is this a scary character, but also they're fun. That's the thing, is that you have so many characters, but all of them have this fun, this aura of fun to them, even though they're meant to be really scary. And they easily have enough lore behind them and enough story behind them to really do a shared universe. And who would we start with this movie universe? Jack the Clown, obviously, the first icon. You would have to do Jack as your first, horror movie icon. It's literally the first, and synonymous with Halloween Horror Nights. Then, next one, boom, you do the caretaker. Then, next movie, you do the storyteller. Then the director. Then you basically do all these movies. I would even say, Lady Luck and Bloody Mary. Do those before the last one, because obviously you know what I'm building up to. I'm building up to Fear. I'm building up to Fear as not the end game, everyone has to... Fear is the Thanos of this universe, and all of them are trying to team up to battle Fear. It's more you have a recurring character throughout all these movies, or recurring characters throughout these movies, to battle. To have this person and these people battle Fear. And who would it be? It would be, at first, I would have it be... for those who are not aware, in Halloween Horror Nights, there is a character that's been recently shown up called Boris, who was this detective who investigated strange paranormal activity in the 20s, and more or less what he did was battle these forces. And I think it'd be kind of cool to have him as the early protagonist of the story, have him, and then you bring in the group called Legendary Truth, which are these group of paranormal experts from Cary, Ohio. And that's the other thing, I would definitely have Cary, Ohio as the focal point for a lot of this. Obviously that's where the icons would bring Fear, they would find Fear and release him. And the legend throughout all the movies, that would be the recurring thing, the build up to, they're investigating all these, all these different opponents throughout each movie, as they're all encountering Jack the Clown and Chance and the director, the caretaker, all of them. They're all kind of slowly discovering all these pieces leading to Fear and him being unleashed. I think that's the I think that's the thing like that I think has been kind of overlooked, is that there's already like a shared universe that you could easily transition because it has enough lore to it and a lot of story to it and a lot of like pop culture, connection and reverence to it without damaging the brand that is the thing that made you what you are today, which was the Universal Monsters. You could still have Blumhouse do like the Universal Monster movies, let them. They're all like seeing Invisible Man clearly shows that they know what the fuck they're doing. But here, Universal, you have an opportunity because it's your babies, it's your things you made yourself, and it's tied to enough lore and whatnot that you have built and constructed over the years, and it literally could easily work for its own movie universe. Like, yeah, you don't think Jack could hold his own in a movie? The question, obviously, is would you cast, like, the actors who play them, the horror icons at the park? Would you have them be playing in the movie? Or would you cast somebody else? Personally, I could go either way. It really has to depend on who you would get to play them actor-wise. Because it can't be Joe Schmo. If you're not going to go with the park actors, then it can't be just Joe Schmo off the street. It has to be someone who's got acting chops and can be scary. Like, yeah, you would need someone if you weren't going to... Because obviously I'm thinking like a Hollywood executive. Like, so Universal would definitely go... All right, we won't use the actors, and we need a big name behind this. I know, Tom Cruise, because it worked so well. We're going to have Tom Cruise play Jack the Clown. Everyone would instantly leave the project, I shit you not. Like, if they said, like, Tom Cruise is Jack the Clown, the whole of the if you thought the backlash the Paramount got from fucking how bad Ugly Sonic was... Oh man, could you imagine that shit? So yeah, I do think like they would probably go with an actual actor, but I also would hope that it realistically, because that's what they would do. But I think deep down it would be kind of cool to have the park actors, because they are actors. It's not like they can't act, and they've been doing this shit for over 30 years. So you could have them do these characters in film, and it would be I think it would work very well. Each of them have like it's not like the same character over and over again. Like each one of them have different aspects that you can use. Like first film, Jack the Clown. Then you can do I think it was the Caretaker that came next. And then, you could do after that either Jack 2 or the Storyteller. And each one, each one is different, and you could reference more and more of Cary, Ohio. Maybe even make references to other houses, like Halloween Horror Nights classic houses. That'd be kind of cool. Like maybe you can again. Like I keep mentioning Cary, Ohio, because that's always part of the lore in Halloween Horror Nights. It's basically like there's an actual Cary, Ohio, but one of the directors, or should I say, former directors of Halloween Horror Nights came from a place called Cary, Ohio, and basically she thought it'd be kind of fun to make the town into like a focal point of just all this evil, nasty stuff, like cannibals and vampires and stuff like that they all happen, and they call it Scary Ohio. Yeah, like again, you could have Boris, this new investigator they brought in from the recent story, from the recent Halloween Horror Nights, but the main heroes could be people behind Legendary Truth, which is again big part of Halloween Horror Nights. So yeah, I'm just like, you're sitting on all of this, and it's like it's perfect. You could definitely use all of this to really play with a lot of lore behind it. So I'm like, what? To quote Peter Griffin, why are we not funding this? So yeah. Yeah, I'm just kind of like sitting here like, why don't we have instead of doing like not to say like I don't want a cinematic universe of the classic monsters, but I think like it'd be kind of cool, like, if they had the balls to just go, well, Halloween Horror Nights is a big enough thing as it is in the parks. Let's transition that to the movies. I'm surprised that hasn't been tried before, you know? It's been over 30 years. Everyone, even if you haven't been to Halloween Horror Nights, you know what Halloween Horror Nights is. So, you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of the idea of a Halloween Horror Nights cinematic universe? Do you guys like the idea? Do you guys hate the idea? And how do you think the movie universe should go out? Do you think it should play out? Do you think it should be, you know, Jack the Clown as the big villain, or do you think it should be Fear? Just comment below, let me know. As always, if you haven't already, hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon if you haven't already. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.